I was the first. There was Rex Brandt, who was a national academician. He taught. There was the Laguna Festival. And then there was this area. There wasn't anybody doing what I was doing. And I was painting and printing, and I had a little press called Balboa Landmarks Press and was actually doing landmarks. That's what drew me to it. Stepping onto Balboa Island off the mainland is an experience I'll never forget. It felt as if all the possibilities were before me, that there was just simply a wonderful wide world for me to be an artist. I was 40. I had 2 children who were in elementary school, and a switch had clicked on in me that it was now my time, that I could begin to do this art that I'd been wild about.
There's art in the family. You knew you could.
There was no art in the family. No. I grew up with 2 paintings on the wall. One was of Mary Baker Eddy, and the other one was of Daniel in the Lion's Den, and that was it. No books. I was born in Depression time. It was 1931. And when I was 40, honestly, truly it was as if I could hear a switch go click, and this is it. It's time. I came from the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, jeez.
I know. And my first husband had lost his job. It was a layoff in aerospace. And so he secured some real estate job down here somewhere. And suddenly I was free to paint, and I could be in Balboa, which I loved. Balboa just became part of the lexicon of what you did when you were growing up in California. You expected to be there. Then I was able to begin to paint, so I took a week with Rex Brandt in beginning watercolor. Transparent watercolor. Acrylic is an opaque paint. Watercolor is a transparent paint. So you see the bloom through the whiteness of the paper coming through the paint and so forth. And that's what I had fallen in love with in children's books. If you just go to the library and look at some children's books, you're going to find watercolor. People will study an oil, but they run to a watercolor. The bloom of watercolor and the thrill of the colors, and it catches, and water. I had no money to do this, you understand, and cut it down to hold a board. I went to the Army-Navy store and got a canteen, and that was the water for one painting, and it had a cup on it that would be my water to use it with. Got one almond palette and the 8 colors that he told us to get, and one brush. That's when I sold a painting, then I could buy an easel that was a folding easel. And if I did another one, then I could buy a better brush that had a point on it instead of it was my pact with myself.
Today we call that financing through revenue. Nobody does that anymore.
Oh, well, I certainly did, yeah. Onyx and the Bayfront has the best view of the pavilion. That's the one that I painted when I put it on the front cover of my book. And I would do it in all weather. It's so magical. It was as if I had the field to myself. It was amazing.
60s, 70s?
Yeah, this was in the 70s. I started in 1970. And people were photographing it, and their Rex was in a way higher category, so his paintings were, museum quality. But there wasn't anybody in between there. And somebody asked me to do a cover of a book. And I went to the printer and set this up for his. He wanted, 250 or something, and I thought, all the color's done. They're printing. There's paper. How about printing another 100 for me? So that was my first print. I was showing in Agate 108 down at the ferry landing, and people were lining up. We just sold and sold them. I could reprint, and I had them on cards, and this light bulb, I went, oh, oh, what do you know? And so I just
And almost all of various times and weather and whatnot of the pavilion.
many of them.
Yeah.
And then I painted landmarks. I was commissioned to do Orange County landmarks.
You obviously love the island so much, you actually got married
I
at
did.
Dad's.
I
Because there's
did.
always money in the banana stand.
Well, the island meant to me endless possibilities. It's my art home. The people on it supported me. And I became a local, which was a wonderful feeling.